So what will this video be about? This video will explain if a smartphone is a homogeneous or heterogeneous product. This video will explain about the consumers and competitors of smartphones. Further, it will give information about the supplier, shop, factory and farmer of smartphones. As last, I will tell you what happens if the selling price of a particular smartphone decreases or increases. To start off, is a smartphone a homogeneous or a heterogeneous product? And what does it even mean? A homogeneous product is a product that is equal to the other products on the market in the eyes of the consumer. An example is maize. A heterogeneous product is a product that, according to consumers, is different from the other products on the market. An example here is bread. But what is the demand of smartphones? Well, the answer of that question is heterogeneous. This is because there are many different suppliers of the product. For example, Apple, Samsung, Nokia, BlackBerry, T-Mobile and way more. Every smartphone from every brand is different because every company has its own extras or better things. For example, going to the Jumbo and buy Lay's chips or going to the Albert Heijn and buy Lay's chips maybe depends on the price they give in both shops. With smartphones there are several important features. The several important features are design and build quality, screen, great camera, headphone jack, battery life, processor power and price. So it really differs if you want to go to the Apple shop to buy an iPhone or go to the Samsung shop and buy a phone. It is really the opinion of every consumer and that differs very much. There are several groups of consumers that use a smartphone. First you have the teenagers, which is the age of 13 till 19. 90% of those teenagers have a smartphone. Secondly, you have the group with an age of 21 till 35. Also here 90% of this group has a smartphone. After there's a group with an age of 36 till 65. Here 78% of this group has a smartphone. As last group you have a group with an age of 65 plus. 52% of this group has a smartphone. Many consumers use the smartphone for online shopping, paying online, for school or social media. Main suppliers of the smartphone market are Samsung and Apple, with Samsung using Android and Apple using iOS. This is already a major difference in the two companies, because Android is used by many companies with it holding 85% of the market share, which is insane if you think that iOS is only available for Apple and other softwares only have a market share of 0.1%. Android is popular with the companies Samsung, Huawei and Nokia. This sets Apple apart from all the other phone suppliers with them using a different software. This may also be a disadvantage because people get used to Android and then it suddenly changes. In this graph you can clearly see that Apple, Samsung and Huawei are the main suppliers. In total they control 49.3% of the market is shared between these companies. In the Netherlands the market share of Apple and Samsung is even greater with 69.8% of all the phones being sold from those two companies, with again Huawei behind it with 9.4%. The market is dominated by Samsung, Apple and Huawei all over the world and also in the Netherlands. But Huawei is trying to catch up with Apple and Samsung by the Huawei P20 Pro, with the phone having 3 cameras on the back side of the phone. But what will happen if the selling price decreases? If the price of a certain type of smartphone will decrease, more people will buy that kind of smartphone. If the price decreases for, with example, Apple, more people will buy a new iPhone. If this happens, also less people will buy a smartphone from Samsung. This is the same vice versa. So, because the price decreases, more people can afford it, and it could be cheaper than the Samsung, which makes it way more attractive to buy. So if this happens with Apple, probably Samsung has to decrease its price too. But if the price of a certain type of smartphone will increase, less people will buy that kind of smartphone. If this happens with Apple, probably more people will buy a Samsung. This is because a smartphone is an oligopoly. This kind of market structure means there are a few firms who dominate and there are also many small firms. With a smartphone there are 2 really big brands who dominate. These are Apple and Samsung. So this is also why Apple and Samsung can't just increase their prices, because otherwise there will be less demand for the smartphones of the type of smartphone and less profit. I hope you have learned something about the product smartphones, and thank you for watching.